UFC 288 is coming up this weekend, and today what I want to do is tell you about 5 fighters that I will be cheering for the most on the card. And this is coming from somebody who watches full cards every single time we fight, so I know a lot of fighters, but I brought it down to 5 fighters that I'm cheering for the most, and we're going to talk about why I'm cheering for them, because there's a little bit more than just I like these guys, you know what I mean? So we're going to talk about those 5 fighters in just a second. Before we get into the video, I do want to say hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about UFC 288. So like I said, 5 fighters, why I'm cheering for them this weekend, and I'm not going to break down the fight at all. I'm just specifically going to talk about why I am cheering for them. The first fighter being Drew Dober. Drew Dober, the reason that I'm cheering for him against Matt Frevola, first of all, is, I do like Drew Dober. All these fighters, spoiler alert, I do like these fighters. But Drew Dober, I really worry for Drew Dober in the sense where it is so dangerous the way that he fights. One of these days, his chin's going to go. It could very well be this fight. And this is something that people don't talk about with Drew Dober. One of these days, he is going to get cranked because he fights so dangerously. He constantly throws himself into these firefights almost every single time that he fights. The days coming where Drew Dober's fall is going to be steep, it's going to be bad, and we're just going to see maybe one of those horrible ways out of the UFC. Since that day is not coming right now, I hope that Drew Dober, because he puts his body so, like all these fighters, but Drew Dober more than most fighters puts his body on the line for our entertainment. So I would like to see Drew Dober continue his win streak as long as possible until that day comes, because I feel like it's inevitable that day's coming, unless he drastically changes the way that he fights, but probably won't. He's a fan favorite, and what I want to see him continue his finish streak and look good. I want to see him maybe even it'd be really cool to see him get to the title. The guy's looking better every single time we see him, but he still throws himself into these firefights, and I think the big fall of Drew Dober will be coming. So as of right now, I hope he just continues exciting the fans, bringing in that spotlight, getting those KO wins, looking good. That fall's coming, and the reason that I'm cheering for Drew Dober is because he's on a roll right now, and I hope it continues. Moving on to number 4. Number 4, this 4th fighter that I'm cheering for this weekend is Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain, if you guys haven't watched Charles Jourdain fight, this dude flies under the radar. He is so exciting to watch, and he's on a 2-fight skid right now. But he is better than those 2-fight skins, and they gave him Kron Gracie. We don't really know how Kron Gracie is going to look, so it's tough. I don't know who the UFC necessarily wants to win. I would imagine they would want Kron Gracie to win, and because Charles Jourdain is so exciting, he often takes risks in fights. So I would imagine maybe the UFC kind of gave Kron Gracie, because they want the Gracie name to go, right? Charles Jourdain might go a little bit crazy and put on an exciting performance so the fans, and Kron Gracie might catch him. Maybe that's where the UFC is thinking, and maybe that's probably what Kron Gracie is thinking. Maybe they could catch an arm here on one of those wild attacks, you know what I mean? But I really, really like watching this guy fight. He's very underrated, and he's better than those 2 losses that we've seen. I really hope Charles Jourdain wins, because an exciting fighter like him should be a little bit more in the spotlight, and I'm really, really happy that he is on such a big card, such a big platform right now. And plus, if you want to cheer for a Canadian guy, I'm all Canadian over here, so we like Charles Jourdain. But it's really cool. I would love to see him continue his rise. People are finally starting to realize how exciting Charles Jourdain is among the hardcore MMA community. But I would really like to see something crazy happen this weekend where Charles Jourdain could get a really insane finish, and then more of the casual fans can start knowing the name of Charles Jourdain. So that's why I'm cheering for him. I'm on the Charles Jourdain train. Really, really love watching that guy fight. Super exciting. Number 3. Moving on is Bryce Mitchell. I know Bryce Mitchell only lost 1 fight, but his last fight, oh my God, did he get murdered? And people are already kind of just, I feel bad for Bryce Mitchell, because some people just laugh at him because of the way that he speaks online, and he's not a dummy, people look at Bryce Mitchell like he's a dummy, and he's not. Okay, first of all, I feel bad for him in that sense, and he's on top of that, he's been getting hit with a double whammy right now because he just took a horrible, horrible loss where he looked awful against Ilia Topuria. Saw that coming. It's just Ilia Topuria makes people look like that. It was a bad matchup for Bryce Mitchell in general, and Bryce Mitchell could have gotten a win with the fight that he was originally scheduled, but now he's fighting Movsar Evloev. So the fans are I know a lot of fans right now are laughing at Bryce Mitchell, and I just think that's so stupid of people to do, because I feel like it's weird that I'm saying, hey, guys, Bryce Mitchell is not a dummy. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, please don't make any assumptions about me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I think like my views are the same way as him. I keep all of that private online, but he's like just a guy in being a fighter. You know what I mean? People are laughing at him because he lost, and people are laughing at him because of some certain things that he says. So I just feel bad for him in that sense. And also Bryce Mitchell he's getting a handful with Movsar Evloev right now. He wasn't supposed to have an opponent this tough. Arguably a better opponent than Ilia Topuria. Something I'd love to see is Ilia Topuria and Movsar Evloev fight each other to see who's that next huge featherweight contender. Bryce Mitchell just wasn't supposed to get a fighter to this extent. He was supposed to get not necessarily a layup fight, but a fight that was more favorable for him to win, because Bryce Mitchell could be a big name. Bryce Mitchell could make it to the top of the division still. It was just an easier fight after his toughest loss, and now he's getting an opponent that's probably just as good as Ilia Topuria. I hope that he conquers all of that, because the fans right now, he's not in a good place with them, and I like Bryce Mitchell. He's a dog for taking this fight when he didn't need to. I hope he overcomes it. Odds are he loses, but that's the reason I'm going to be cheering for Bryce Mitchell. Let's move on to number 2, though. The second fighter that I'm going to be cheering for is Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, long story short, true BMF of the division. Very, very true. Not just the division, the UFC. The dude has been incredibly active. He is saying yes to everybody. And it's kind of hurts because Bilal Muhammad does deserve his title fight, okay? I'm not saying that I dislike any of their opponents. It's just the reason that I'm cheering for these guys. Gilbert Burns, you can tell he puts his heart and his soul in every fight. And I have not felt bad for Gilbert Burns. Well, I did feel bad, but you know what I mean? Like, after his loss to Kamaru Usman, you could just tell with him, like, sitting there and crying, like, how much he wanted this and how, like, devoted he is to the game. He got back in there fighting the toughest of the tough guys. He will do anything to get back to that title, and he's taking another short notice fight against Bilal Muhammad. This dude is dedicated, and honestly, Colby Covington might be my favorite fighter in the division, but if they fought, I'm at the point where I would cheer for Gilbert Burns. I'm cheering for this guy all the way through to the title. I hope that with everything that we've seen in Gilbert Burns right now, he's pleasing the fans. He's doing everything that the UFC wants. He's taking fights that he doesn't need to. All there to get to the title and become a champion. This might be his last run because he's getting up there in age. I want to say he's like 36 years old, somewhere around there. This may be his last run. He's looking better than ever, and I hope that he continues that momentum. I would love to see Gilbert Burns get the title because he deserves it. And with all of the work that he has put into this division and pleasing the fans, pleasing the UFC, I believe he deserves it. I don't care who's holding that welterweight title. Could be one of my favorite fighters ever. I would cheer for Gilbert Burns. I would like to see him succeed. Let's move on to number 1, though. Let's move on to the fighter that I am cheering for in the main event. We are cheering for Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, I don't have a huge reason like the other fighters, to be honest with you. I just really like Henry Cejudo. I would love to see him come in and continue to make history. But the biggest reason, well, here's the thing, okay? Henry Cejudo's coming back. He wants to get that title. He wants to fight Sean O'Malley, and he wants to fight, he said someone else in the division. He wants to fight Sean O'Malley and somebody else in the division, but it's not coming to me. It's escaping me. My apologies. But then he wants to go up and fight Alexander Volkanovski. I want to see all that. Will he beat Alexander Volkanovski? I don't give him a chance in the world, but there has been so many times in so many fights where I have doubted Henry Cejudo's ability, and he overcame it. I want to see just the walkout for Henry Cejudo and Alexander Volkanovski. I hope that he takes it off Aljamain Sterling. I hope that he beats Sean O'Malley. I hope that he gets another defense, and I hope that he fights Alexander Volkanovski. That's where I'm at. I love the King of Cringe. I am a huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan of his gym. I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. I worry about him coming back because this could damage his legacy. I'm picking Aljamain Sterling to win this fight. I don't think Henry will do it, but I hope to God that he does because he retired as one of the greatest combat athletes of all time, to use his words. He's coming in here and risking that. He's putting it on the line for more greatness, and how can I not respect that? I hope he succeeds in everything that he does. I hope he retires undefeated just like last time. Could you imagine if he actually did end up beating Alexander Volkanovski? I don't give him a chance in the world, but I've doubted him before. But then Alexander Volkanovski seems like a different beast, so who knows? But guys, those are the 5 fighters that I'm cheering for this weekend, and that's why we're cheering for Drew Dober, we're cheering for Charles Jourdain, we're cheering for Bryce Mitchell, we're cheering for Gilbert Burns, and we're cheering for Henry Cejudo. Let me know if there are any fighters in particular that you are cheering for this weekend. I would love to hear about it, and this is a series that I'm going to start on the channel. Every single fight week, I'm going to take some fighters. I'm going to tell you why I'm cheering for them. But guys, again, I'd love to hear from you guys down below. Thank you so much for watching. On the screen right now, you will have 2 fantastic MMA videos, one of them being a full card prediction breakdown for UFC 288. Check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care.